When it comes to language learning, watching videos that could be movies or TV shows in your target language can be a really helpful and useful way to get familiar with that language. However, a big question when it comes to this is, do I have subtitles on or not? There's some arguments pro and against, and in this video I'm going to cover 4 topics to talk about and consider when it comes to watching movies and TV shows in your target language so that you can get the most return out of watching TVs and movies in your target language. So I'm going to split this into 4 topics. The first topic is, what are the benefits of using subtitles when you're watching a TV show or a movie? Well, the first benefit is that if you're very early on in your language learning stage and you can't understand much of your target language, then subtitles allow you to know what's going on and the context of the situation without having to know everything from the start. If you didn't have subtitles and you're just listening to the target language with your ears and you're trying to watch what's going on, you're spending so much effort working out what's going on that you forget what's actually happening. Therefore, if you're very early on in your journey, I'd recommend having the actual audio coming out in your target language, so you might not understand what's going on to your ears. However, subtitles in your native language. So if I'm an English person learning Spanish, I'd be listening to Spanish, but reading the subtitles in English. That way, I can see what's going on, and it only takes a fraction of a second to look down and read what people are saying in English, and that makes it so much easier for me to understand the context, despite not knowing what they're saying. On that note, I've created a free email course on how to watch TV and movies for language learning. It gives you all the best tips and tricks on how you can spend the least time learning and get the most value out of your efforts. There's a link below to check it out. Also, I've mentioned this in another video, but getting into flow of watching a movie or TV show is much better than understanding every single word. That brings me on to topic number 2. Should you have subtitles in your native or target language? Well, if you're very early on, as I mentioned before, if it's in your target language, then you're not understanding the audio, and also you're not understanding what's written down. You can guess maybe if you've done a few exercises on Duolingo, you know a bit about the written text in your target language, but really you want to enjoy what's going on. You want to get fully involved in the action on the movie or TV show. So in that sense, if you're early on, have subtitles in your native language so you know what's going on. That's more important because that will keep you hooked on the storyline and it won't make you bored because you don't know what's going on. The risk is that if you're listening to your target language and you're not understanding it, and also you're looking at subtitles in your target language and you don't understand that either, you don't know what's happening. You can't really get involved in it. You don't know who the characters are or their personalities because you don't understand anything. So with that said, have subtitles in your native language. However, the caveat to that is if you're intermediate in that target language and you can have a basic conversation, maybe you understand what's going on in a sense, then you can have the subtitles in your target language as well. So you're listening to the words in your target language, so you're getting your ears used to what's being said, but then as well, you can see the text written down. So if you don't quite understand a certain syllable or word or what's been said, you can read, that's what they said, that's the right word, okay, cool. And that then aligns with what you're listening to. That's only if you're at a good enough level to be able to understand what's happening and understand the context based on what you're hearing and what you're seeing, then that's perfect. Just a quick one on this point. Quite often it's tempting to look up a word that you don't know. If you're an intermediate level in, say, Spanish and you're English and you see a Spanish word that you don't know, it's tempting to stop the video and look it up on Google Translate or Word Reference or something. However, that pauses what you're watching, takes you out of the flow of the TV show, and means you have to spend mental effort in looking that word up. That now becomes a bit like homework and a bit like more effort, and you want to minimize the effort as much as possible to stay in the flow of what's happening. So resist the urge to look up every single word, because you'll see the words again and again in different contexts anyway, and your brain will naturally pick up the meaning of those words. So trust the process that you're watching the TV show. There will be words that you don't know that you're tempted to look up, but resist the urge to look it up, because it's more important to stay in the flow, and your brain will remember it better then because it'll have more context rather than just looking at your phone, and it'll be more fun, which is the most important bit. The next topic is, at what point do you transition from subtitles to no subtitles? So this, I would say, is for more advanced people at a late stage who are really wanting to challenge themselves. So you might be confident in your ability to speak your target language now, and you're just watching for a bit more entertainment. There'll be a few words that you don't quite understand, but the majority of it you're getting the hang of, and you don't really need subtitles. In that sense, it would be lazy to leave subtitles on if you're trying to really learn and get better at the language, because you want to be able to replicate what it's like in real life. The idea of watching TV shows and movies, I assume for you, is if you're wanting to get to as close to fluent as you can in your target language. And that's, in that sense, it means that if you go to the country where it's spoken, you can confidently speak and understand and have conversations with native speakers. With that said, in real life, you wouldn't have subtitles in your vision. It would be good to, but at the moment, technology doesn't allow us to have, to that extent, that quickly, subtitles. So try and replicate what real life would be like. Have your subtitles off if you can understand exactly what's going on, and the context of the situation. It will help you progress much quicker because you won't be relying on reading everything that's being said. The final point I want to make on this is that listening to movies and TV shows massively helps you to understand native speakers when they speak really quickly. So on a lot of streaming sites such as Netflix, you can adjust the playback speed of what's going on. You can make it 0.25, 0.75, even 1.25 if you really want to challenge yourself. However, bear in mind that this is great because it allows you to understand and get used to what native speakers are saying to you. When you get fluent, you no longer translate your target language into your native language in your head. You no longer have to translate. You just feel the meaning of the word. I've done another video about this separately if you want to go and watch it. However, my point is, it's great if you are able to have no subtitles on when you're watching movies or TV shows, obviously if you can reach that kind of level. But once you're at that level, try and use it as much as you can. Try and absorb as much content as you can, because that's how you get over the common struggle of being able to understand native speakers. If you have a recording playing back at more than 1 time speed, then that's incredibly good, because then you'll be used to native speaking fast to you. And initially it'll be quite a challenge to understand everything, but then your brain gets used to the speed of it, and it will treat normal conversation as easier because you're used to a faster speed. So that's one trick you can do, but it is massively useful for helping you understanding what native speakers are saying to you without having to translate it in your mind, which slows down your understanding of what they're saying. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video and find value from it. I know that a lot of people want to watch TV shows and movies, and many people learn a language completely in that way. And it is possible. You don't have to study grammar to be able to learn a different language. It can be more fun and exciting than that. And learning via watching movies and TV shows is a great way to do that. So I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a comment below as to your thoughts as to whether you like to use subtitles and what language you use subtitles in. And any advice for anyone who's struggling to learn language using movies and TV shows, any personal gain that you found from it, please share in the comments below. Thanks, hope you subscribe if you like this kind of content, and speak to you soon.